I know you want to see that last portion. I know you want to see the last part. And that's all. So, yesterday, we had...
Hi guys, and welcome to the Lucky Stove. My name is Danielle, and today we're going to learn about how to make the ultimate keto bread, brought to you by the Keto King. Are you ready? Sorry, I want to let you know, sorry, the sound went out, so I have to do a voiceover. Ugh, how annoying. Well, now we have eggs, and I'm showing you our gluten. That is vital wheat gluten in English. So we have that, and now we have our new naturals oat fiber. That is perfect. You need the oat fiber because, like I said, we're making bread, and that's what we're going to use, like vegan and keto. Perfect. And I'm showing you that you can get this in the United States. I have not been able to find it anywhere else, so sorry. Let me see. Ah, yes, the perfect Bruggeman instant yeast. Now, with this yeast, you do not have to add sugar to your bowl to let it feed on it. You put it directly into your mixture, and then you just let it rip. I mean, it's going to make it all awesome. That's what it's for. The gluten and the yeast and the oat fiber do their job. Then you see the the xanthan gum here. You're going to add xanthan gum. Perfect. Alright, let's get going. I got my bowl, a mixing bowl here, but that doesn't matter. We're not going to use it. What we're going to use is the food processor. Now, the Keto King mentions that you can use a mixer, but I don't have a mixer. But this food processor can be utilized as a mixer. So the way to get going is we're going to first start with some coconut oil. The recipe calls for actually butter, but I try to save my butter for bulletproof coffees. So instead, I'm going to use coconut oil. Normally, I use olive oil, liquid, perfect. So we're going to use that. I put it in the bowl and have it melted already. Now we're going to zero out the scale and get the food processor ready. Here we go. Alright, so we're going to start with the oat fiber. Oat fiber, perfect. We're going to add this into our processor, and this is going to make it, look at that. Look how fine that is. Now this is oat fiber, not flour, but oat fiber. This is keto, friends. Keto. Even if it's not, I'm just kidding. It is. This is the best way to get your bread going. And look at that, all soft and silky. And then after the oat fiber, we're going to go ahead. Let's make sure, though, that we have half a cup or 41 grams. After you have the 41 grams in there, then you're good to go. Now, I'm almost out, so I'm really trying to make this work. I have another bag coming soon. Next is the flaxseed meal. This is Leimmehl. This is German. This flaxseed meal is actually the best meal that you can get because it's not just gemahlen. I mean, broken up into no, this is not just broken up seeds. This mess is silky smooth. I mean, it's perfect. It's the best way that you can utilize and make breads. This is going to make your bread look like there are no flecks, because whenever you use flaxseed meal, you will find that there's a look of flecks in there. Look at that. Look how it falls. So silky and smooth. I mean, oh my word, it's delicious. Now, for this, you need 70 grams. And so I'm just pouring that in right now. Delicious. Just check that out. So, I mean, it's as fine as flour, y'all. It's as fine as flour. Perfect. The next thing that's coming on, man, look at that. I accidentally poured in a little too much, and look, this product is delicious, and it's very inexpensive at my Naturwinkel, my natural health food store. But, I mean, I don't know where you can get it. Maybe you can get it online, Amazon, whatever. But I have to scoop some out because I don't want to waste it. I mean, it won't kill anybody, but... Alright, so back in the bag it goes. And the next item for this wonderful bread. Now, What you need is a half teaspoon, because with this half teaspoon, you are going to scoop out your xanthan gum. You see, I also added some pink salt to the side. We're going to do that in just a moment, but first, we're going to add in our xanthan gum. Now, as you can see, I've pulled out and I'm zeroing out my scale so that way I can add in the yeast. Again, this yeast is not, you don't have to add any sugar to this. You do not have to put your yeast on a high-carb diet. There we go, sprinkling it in. Only 8 grams of yeast. And yes, I did. I threw the salt right on top of the yeast. Oh my gosh, kill me. I tell Lydia all the time, do not put salt on top of the yeast. But in this instance, it's not necessarily, you don't have to worry about it. But for those of you who are having a conniption fit, I'm going to go ahead and do you a favor. Alright, so now I'm going to zero the scale back out. Of course, you have to use your scale. You can't just use a measuring spoon or whatever. It doesn't work. Now, here is the tarwegluten, the vital wheat gluten. Now, this is not wheat, but wheat gluten. I can't tell you more about it except that it's gluten and not wheat. So this is going in on top of everything else. You can put it in whatever order you want. It doesn't really matter. What matters is the dry and wet. So now I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I start using a spoon so that way I don't overdo it. A tarwegluten, I get this from the notenshop.nl. Not sponsored, but you can always find this, I think, on Amazon. I'm not certain. Don't hold me accountable if you can't find it, but I'm pretty sure that you can find vital wheat gluten just about anywhere except the Netherlands. You gotta get it from the Noten shop. So now I'm gonna go ahead and tap off the tip of the processor because I'm gonna give it a quick whir. I'm going to put it on the processor, the butt of the processor, and let it do its job, so that way you can mix it up a little bit. Alright, now we have the coconut oil in my measuring container. It's 30 grams that I've placed into the microwave, so that way it can be at least kind of melted. Helpful. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add the Walden Farms sweetener. Now, it says the recipe calls for 0 to 4 tablespoons of powdered sweetener. Now, that's to taste. Alright, now we get to the eggs. 1 egg, 2 eggs. You need 2 eggs. Actually, it doesn't say the size of the eggs, but if you want to be certain, it's just 2 eggs, lightly beaten. So that's up to you, friends. But I'm pretty sure small is not in the cards, either medium or large. So now I'm adding that to the beaker. It's not a beaker. It's not chemistry. Well, kind of. I'm adding it to the measuring cup so that way I can just get all of this down, and it's just easier this way. Because I'm gonna give it a light. I'm gonna mix all of these ingredients together shortly, so that way they can pour in easily into the processor. As you see, I did not melt the coconut oil all the way, and it is giving me a little trouble, but it doesn't matter because it's all gonna mix up anyway. So this is just there's one more step, but this is all pre that step, so that way it's just a little bit easier. Now I'm zeroing out one more time. I'm going to add my last ingredient. Alright, as you can see, I've added the water here. It calls for a cup of warm water. Okay, that's 240 milliliters, between 50 to 55 degrees centigrade or 131 Fahrenheit. What I've heard it explained is if a bath, like a nice warm bath, that's how warm you want your water. Otherwise, use a thermometer. I don't have one, so I think of the bath. Now that all of that is all mixed up, I mean, I really didn't have to be so thorough, but I kind of like it. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my food processor. So stand by as I get everything switched over. Alright, you want to make sure that you add your liquid into your dry, and then if you're using a food processor, make sure that you allow that to do its job. It's going to, if you have let it go for at least 5 minutes, I believe he says, but you can always check his video. I will leave a card up top so that way you can see it, but just know that that's what you're going to do. Now, sit back and relax and let your processor do its job. Alright guys, the processor is done. It's done what it needs to do. I can't say any more about it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and take the lid off and look at that. Look at that dough, you guys. That's gluten right there. That's gluten doing this job. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this processor out of the way because I need space. We are going to get down and dirty. Check out my sleeves. I am ready to rumble. The first thing I'm going to do is going to oil the table. Why, you ask? You shall see. But guess what? I'm also going to oil my hands. Is it starting to get suspiciously familiar? Check me out. Oh, looks like a good thing of lotion, right? That's Mary Kay. Just kidding. Okay, so now I'm pulling the dough out. I'm pulling it out of the processor, and we're just going to remove it and all of whatever we can out of the processor, so that way we can go ahead and get this going. If you've never made bread before, oh man, this is like really exciting because this is the type of bread that you cannot get normally through like traditional keto type ingredients, I should say. Look at the gluten. I mean, we had to add gluten, yes, but it's not. It's doing its job. Look at that. Look at the stretch on that dough. Look at that. It's beautiful. I know. It sounds like I'm like fantasizing on it, but I'm just like, it's really exciting because I love to make dough. This is what I used to do. Not dough, but bread. Look at that. Look at that stretch. I'm pulling it together, folding it into it. Oh my gosh. Look at it. You can't do that. Look at me knead that thing. Try that. Try it with a conventional keto dough. Sorry. Don't try it. You're going to waste your dough. Because this is like awesome, y'all. And look, I'm finding a little bit of bubbles where, not bubbles, but where pieces of the mix didn't come together. And just bring it back together. Break that thing up and get it in there. But look, you guys, I love making bread. This is something that I used to make for my family once or twice a week. I would make it, and this was something that's therapeutic to me. So here I am now oiling the table again because it needs it. It's just easier this way, so I can knead it, so I can knead the dough. And this for me is very therapeutic. So check this out. I mean, look at it. Look at it. It shines in the sun like magic. It's so awesome. So I'm gonna keep on. But look at this, you guys. Look at the flexibility of this. I mean, you hear this? Look. You see me thumping this? You can't do that with regular keto dough. Look at this. It's beautiful, y'all. I'm so excited. I just can't help it because this is what I used to do. This is the bread I used to make. Okay. So just a little bit of more kneading just because I love it. Not because it needs it, but because I love it. Needs it with an N, not a K. Alright, now I'm going to continue to knead this for a little bit more. Like I said, not because it's necessary, but because I love it. But do keep in mind that the Keto King does mention that a bread machine for his original version would do all this for you. So if you're not about that kneading life, if you're not needy, yes, I did. If you are not needy, then this probably is not fun for you. But this for me is magic. So I'm going to continue here, and I'm going to make it go through. And give me a moment because I gotta, here I go again, oiling my hands again. But guess what? You kind of need to do that. And don't worry about my oil. Speaking of, that's olive oil. But don't you worry about my bottle because I'm going to clean it, all right? That's what I do. This is how I get it done. So a little bit more, bring it together. Oh, just lovely. I just love it. I just love it. Oh, so therapeutic. Now, let me gather the rest of this together. I'm about done, so let me go ahead and see, and I'll be right back with ya. Alright, guys, so now I'm getting the rolling pin out. This is the last stage. Now, this is not something that he tells us to do. This is something that I've learned through YouTube. Many bakers, watching bread makers go along and make their bread. I've seen some do certain things, some do others, but this is what I've made a compilation of and stored in my brain. So I'm getting my rolling pin and I'm just banging the mess out of it. Great. I'm going to stretch it out so that way it can, so that way I can get in somewhat of a lengthy or a rectangle. Is it necessary? Yeah, I don't know. But I watched a few people make bread. That's how I learned how to make bread, y'all. I learned on YouTube. The conventional way of making bread, that I learned on YouTube, and then I passed it on. So here I am. I'm just stretching this mess out because it's delicious. And now I'm rolling it. This is also a tack, not a tack, but this is something also I learned by the same person that I saw rolling it out. That she rolled it out, and then I can't even tell you where I learned it from. I'm sorry, folks. I wish I could. But she rolled it out with a rolling pin, and then she rolled it as I'm doing now. Now, this is a little bit of a design, the way I'm doing this. It doesn't make for better tasting bread. It just makes for a more interesting bread. Now, this pan that I've got is my bread pan. I can't tell you what size it is. I bought it from a really cheap store. But the fact of the matter is, I've oiled it. You can put baking paper in there, so that way you don't have to worry about oiling it if you don't want to. But I do, because then after you get this all tucked in and all nice and cozy, you gotta let it rise. And if your bread pan has anything on it, which and you gotta let it rise for 2 hours. But if your bread pan has anything on it, then you got to let it go through. So here it is. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my preheated oven for 2 hours. It's at 60 degrees. 60 degrees, y'all. I'll be back. So here we are. Here we have it, guys. I don't know if you can see in this light. How about come a little bit closer? 25 minutes. A beautiful loaf of bread. Quote unquote rustic. Delicious. And now you just gotta let it set for a little bit. I usually try to loosen it, and that's always a mistake. I don't know why I always try. And then I'm always disappointed. Like, stop. But anyway, I'm gonna let this sit in here for a little bit. When things are hot, you're not supposed to touch it. And then I will release it, and then I'll come back to you guys when it's ready to cut. And of course, if you've ever baked bread, and if you never have, please do not cut the bread while it's hot. The bread needs time to relax itself. The gluten that was already in there needs time to relax and come to its full fluffiness. If you cut it between, you're gonna get some kind of mush mess. And it's not. If you're used to buying bread from the store, you don't get mush mess unless you are intentionally buying mush mess. But when you're making your own bread, you want to be proud of it, and you don't want to be slicing it and then having it smear together, kind of, because you didn't wait the time. That's what I'm talking about here. You want fluffy, delicious, beautiful bread. Check out my photos. I was gonna say, dude. Check out my photos, dude. You can tell. I mean, You can tell when somebody just pulled it out and then they cut it, and you can also tell when somebody pulled it out and they let it rest, and all the steam finished it off, and it was beautiful, it was gorgeous, simply gorgeous. Okay? Alright, see you in a little bit. It has nothing to do with bread, but here we go. You see how soft it is? Look, I'm not left-handed, folks. I'm right-handed. What y'all doing? This doesn't work for me like this. Let me turn it around. Sorry. Here we go. That's called problem solving. See how soft it is? Look at that. I know some people don't like pillow soft bread, and to them I say, oh well. But this bread is pillow soft. Look at that. And look at the texture. Look at that, guys. Look, I'm pulling it. I've seen some people do the crumble test. Look. It's not mushy. It's not gooey. It's not gooey. Okay, guys. Thanks you so very much for joining me and learning how to make awesome keto bread. Now, I will see you next time, and may your stove always bring you luck or a coupon. Bye.
Hey guys, will you make me a sandwich? And don't forget to comment down below. Guys?